to do it either. You can do it on your phone. We're going live right now. We're live right now on YouTube. And so I've got the mic, not because you guys hear me through the mic, but the computer does. We're gonna say, hey, YouTube. Today, we are doing something super fun, and we are going to look at modern prophecies. We're going to look at some people actually on here on YouTube that say that they have special connections to God and they have given some messages, and they think that it's proof, it's undeniable. They are prophets sent by God, and these are their prophecies. So, without further ado, I'm going to look some up real quick. And what you're seeing, YouTube, is I have some friends here on TikTok. They're over here to my left. But I also have some panelists. And today it might just be me and Seth, but we also have other panelists for other things as well. What's up, Seth?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Can Seth hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, no. Oh, we froze?
Hello? Hello?
Oh, no. I think Seth is froze. Let's see.
Hello?
Benny, are we moving?
Can you hear me?
Wait a minute. Is my computer slow? Is my computer messing up? What's up, Elizabeth? Okay. They were moving just a second ago.
I could hear Ben. Hello?
Okay. I can see you now. Whoa.
Can you hear me?
He's like glitching. My computer may just be messing up, guys. I don't know. Can you hear me, Seth?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
You can't hear me.
Okay. Sorry, guys. We're having a technical difficulty here right now, but that's okay. We have to go through this to get to the good content, right? So give me a second, and maybe my computer. I'm gonna try to add Benny. Okay. Are we good?
Testing. Can you hear this? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear.
Okay. Hold on. All right. Okay. Okay. Now let me see. I can hear you now. No.
Anything? Hello?
Wait a minute. Whoa. What happened to me? Shit.
I wish I knew where my little separator is. Hopefully, I'll have enough battery on my tablet. Otherwise, I might have to drop and then come back on another device.
Wait. I can hear you guys when I don't have the headphones in.
You can?
Oh, hallelujah. We don't have a big YouTube page right now. That's a great thing. All right. Let me.
I have so much stuff over on this area.
All right.
Am I like coming through clearly though? Like I'm using this microphone.
You are
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
so weird.
Is it too clear?
Sounds fine.
Because like I can always.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me whisper?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And we're running smooth. Hey. Great. Hope you guys are having a good day.
Yeah. Are you having a good day?
I am.
Well, actually, we oh, experienced some major
That's right.
weather earlier. There we go.
So was it like a rough night all night?
Yeah, we didn't have any power from like 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. So, and it was like 100
Oh no.
degrees. So it was
Dang.
hot.
That
But
sounds like a hot time.
it
Lord.
came back on at 6, so I was able to like get a nap in and get rested and everything. So we're good now.
That's good. Did you guys have like a lot of damage?
Seth was outside for like all morning cleaning up like tree limbs and what have you.
Yeah,
Did you
Ben
get most
napped
of it done?
while I cleaned up.
You did what?
I
Ben
like was
napped while I
exhausted.
cleaned up.
I was
Yeah, I don't
exhausted.
blame you, Ben.
I didn't get much sleep last night. It was like the worst sleep ever.
It really
And
doesn't sound fun.
yeah,
It
it was
wasn't.
very hot.
Okay, I am pulling up the Elijah List website. This is, if you don't know what Elijah List is, they are really a prophetic ministry, and they like put people on stage. Like a lot of my Cat Cur videos are on Elijah List, and so they have some prophecies. You can submit your word. Okay. Because they used to have a Facebook or a YouTube, and one of their things was fulfilled prophecies. But I don't see their YouTube anymore. And that's this was the first thing I'm going to go to. Let's see. Maybe this is Steve Schultz recorded an interview with Robin Bullock for a special intelligence briefing in Texas on July 26, 2024, that re-aired on July 21st. Okay, so I don't think that's any prophecy. They're saying that they must have got rid of the submitted prophecies. Okay. What was that prophet's name that we were looking at, Benny? Do you remember?
He made a comment on your short. That's all I remember.
Yeah. I was gonna get to him at the last.
There's Prophet Julie. Then there was that Bill.
Yeah, what was his name?
Bill
Hold on, I have it
Cipher?
somewhere.
No.
This one's kind of like a more fun live. This isn't as
Yeah.
structured as the Deconstructor Church live, and so my theory is I want to do as much as I can. Really, Brandon Biggs. There we go.
Brandon Biggs. That's what it was.
And also, my mom was down here for like a few days, and I only found out yesterday. And she was headed home, and so she stopped by like right before I was going live. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Let's see. Brandon Biggs had a prophecy about an assassination attempt on President Trump, former President Trump. Hopefully, never to be president again, former President Trump. All right. Let's see. That's what.
The Trump prophecy. I think I've also got the video with Mike Winger. You know who Mike Winger is?
Yes.
Like a philosopher, theist, like apologist. I always see him like getting called out in like reaction videos on him from Mindshift and like Alex O'Connell or Connor.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Okay, I think this is probably where it's at.
He
Let's
kind of
see.
looks like you, Seth, a little bit. He's like a Christian douchier
No, he doesn't look
version.
like Seth at all.
Mike
You think
Winger?
he looks like Seth?
Mike Winger, not
Oh,
not
Mike Winger. Mike
not
Winger. Yeah.
not crazy guy, Brandon,
Okay. Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, Mike Winger. I could see that for sure.
I don't
Okay.
know. What does he look like? I'm a
Here,
little afraid.
I'm gonna share it to you. So
Okay.
copy message.
Screen. I'm gonna do entire screen too. I'm going to talk to TikTok for a second. Hey, everybody on TikTok, what we're doing is we're going live right now. We're deconstructing modern prophets. You're joining us right now, kind of just to chill live on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Benny is on YouTube. Seth, I don't think you have a YouTube, do you?
I have a YouTube, but it's not really. I don't
Not
have a
for
whole lot
public
on it. Just
consumption.
like
Yeah.
some drone videos and
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Drone videos on Seth.
Wait,
And
the
so
bald
after the
guy
video,
looks like me?
No,
no. This guy looks like you. Hold on. I'll show
Mike Winger.
you the guy that looks like you.
I sent it to your. I texted it to you, didn't I?
Well, the picture or
Like, go to
like
the
the
account.
video preview.
There we go.
It's like a Christian.
That's rude.
It does. I mean, there's a
It's not
look.
bad.
It looks like
Nah,
me
it's
too. It looks like me, like in a way, but I think he kind of looks like you.
yeah, no,
Just
I
a
can see
little.
it. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Sorry.
I've
But
heard
this guy,
worse comparisons.
He's not bad looking. It's just he's got
It's really
that
not.
like dork, like Christian look, like haircut and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. The brainwashing is washed.
Yeah, whatever. It's there. He comes from, if you ever watch the East Revolution or whatever it's called, um, that he comes from that movement. And the name of their church has escaped me, but it's like the oh, what is it? I'm gonna have to search it up. Calvary. I think it's Calvary or something like that.
Oh,
Oh, Calvary
yeah.
Chapel. I was right. I
Hmm.
thought of it right before I was seeing it. Okay. Um. Anyways, but this is not Mike Winger. Mike Winger is actually calling this guy out. This guy is Brandon Biggs, and we're gonna listen to his prophecy and see if this is actual, if it's an actual prophecy. This happened. I think it was a few months before the Trump incident. Okay.
I can't hear anything. I can't.
Do you have to turn the sound on the tab? Do you see again?
Like share the tab.
Oh
Cause
no.
yeah, remember this
Yeah, I bet I
happened
do.
last time.
No. Okay, I'm forgetting what I did. Hold on. How did I do it?
It's somewhere in like the share, and then it should give you like a little drop down where you can share like a tab
Okay, let's see.
instead of
Share
like the whole.
screen.
And then I think there's like a window share.
Also share. Oh, I see it. I see it. Okay. Thank you guys. Okay. Here we go. We'll start from the beginning so we can all hear it. Let's see if can you guys hear it?
He said there's going to be a
Can you hear
We
it
just
now?
had a power surge. Did
Oh
the light
no.
did the lights flicker downstairs then? Hello.
Oh, Benny's froze. He must be disconnected from the internet for a second. I was
Yeah,
totally Gus.
we lost internet.
What's up, Odin? Hey, buddy. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for checking us out. Benny and Seth actually just survived a major storm, and we are figuring out YouTube Live. As the kids say, we are raw dogging it. We are just doing it by the hair of our chinny chin chin. But that's okay because we are constantly getting better. But yeah, we're gonna get the sound on, Odin. We got the sound on here. Me and Benny listened to this one already a little bit, but we'll wait a little bit for Benny to get
He
back
said
on.
there's going.
I could hear that.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and go, Seth. Here we go.
It'll
He
take
said
Benny like
there's
just
going
a
to be a
couple
new wave of
minutes
patriotism.
to get the Wi-Fi back on.
Oh, then we'll wait. No problem. No problem at all.
Hopefully that's
Oh man.
That's it, because losing power again would be really annoying.
Oh no, I bet. I hate losing power. It take them forever to get to you guys.
It's we were out without power for 12 hours or over 12 hours.
12 hours without power? My gosh.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. I'm like, man, what did people do before power?
Yeah, definitely.
Like
especially like
I
in
just
Texas.
like laid there in the dark.
You lay in the dark? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my
Trying
gosh.
to do my best to stay cool.
That reminds me of when my mom and my sister were in Texas during that power outage. They were like, no.
Yeah, I bet they were without power for a while.
They were for a minute. Okay, Benny, I see you. Here we go. All right. We all good? We all up?
I think so.
Okay, good. Here we go.
Amen. He said there's going to be a new wave of patriotism coming out, and that's whenever I saw Trump, and I saw a red wave coming out of Michigan, and then I saw Oklahoma, and there was embers of people, and they were all on these. They had torches all throughout Oklahoma, and they were raising up these torches that looked like fire, and they were bringing forth a new patriotism upon the nation. And it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw
can barely understand him.
Attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his
I hear him fine.
And it came so close to his head.
Glitching really bad for
that
me.
It busted his eardrum. For shipping the.
Well, let's pause it anyways, because he was just rambling the craziest stuff I've ever heard. Talking about like torches in Oklahoma and a red wave and embers, and so fire and brimstone, okay, are coming from. Where did he say?
To me, like he's gonna, like the only thing that I know when they're holding torches like that, like tiki torches, is like not a good thing.
Right, like the Charlottesville YT supremacist stuff.
That's immediately what I thought of.
Yeah, where he's like people with,
he's not
with
saying
torches,
this?
And it's like that's already happened. Is there going to be a round two? Because it didn't go well.
No, it did not. It didn't go well for either one of us. It really
that was when Trump said there's good people on both sides, and it's like, no. There was people that were trying to spread a horrible message, and there were people protesting those people, and I think it ended up with somebody getting unalived, and it was very sad.
Yeah.
It's not good. Yeah, it's definitely not good. It's I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about here.
Well, I mean, like, that's what it, like, he wants it to happen again is what it sounds like. I don't know. I'm coming from a completely realistic real world. This is what his dreams are telling him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah,
sure.
when I heard the torches, I immediately thought of Charlottesville.
Same. Okay, let's see if we can go back. Which one was it? No, it's this one.
Poor
Oh, we're on the
tiki
bottom one here.
brand tiki torches. Like, they didn't deserve that.
The brand?
Yeah.
I have no idea. But I bet they really tried hard to keep it out of the news.
Yeah.
The Lord, he
Would.
got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw
as in
people
Trump?
interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great, the Lord showed me that the summer great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff, but there would be a stop to it, and there things would start.
Pretty much, he sees Donald Trump being like challenged by the checks and balances of our government.
And when was this from?
This was, from what I remember, like a few months ago.
Because didn't he just recently say that he's not even Christian?
No, see, that's what I thought he said too. But everyone is saying that when you look at the transcription of that rally, it says he says he is a Christian. Isn't that weird? It sounds just like he's saying that he wasn't a Christian.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that because
it took me off
I was
guard
hearing like he was like, well, I know for sure that he was saying that Christians don't vote, even though they make up like 80 to 90% of his voter block.
Yeah, he
And
was saying if you vote this one time, you won't have to do it again.
Yeah, that means like he's going to set basically all the groundwork for the Christian nationalism that they all want, and they won't ever need to vote again because everything will always just be as they want it because there's no getting out of it. It will be fixed. A lot of people are taking it like as it will be fixed, as in it will be a fixed election, which I also agree with because he's got loyalists implanted as election certifiers in all like swing states, at least the swing states.
What is it, like 70 something election officials that are election deniers and have posted things on social media about how the election was stolen, and these are the people that are responsible for certifying the election. So November is going to be a shit show.
It really is. There's no way around it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this was a few months ago. I'm gonna have to go way back in my notifications to find it. But I'm letting people know on TikTok that we're on YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube Live. Just look up the same name that we have on TikTok, and we are there. And you can see the video and everything. We can't show the video on TikTok because they will get us in trouble. They did it last time when we tried to do it. Me and Benny were looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
To break
Okay. Here we go.
Free come toward the fall, and then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting. And it will be a great economy crash. I saw they had a great economy plan, a crash, worse than the Great Depression. And the Lord warned me about this. It would be a great dark time. But I saw paddles coming upon America's soil like a shocking of the soil. And I saw Donald Trump praying in the office of the Oval Office, and he was weeping before the Lord, his hands on his, like he was weeping. Ministers and people, I don't know if they were senators or Congress people or whatever. I just saw them pacing and back and forth inside of the White House. And sorry, what is the House? But it's the Oval Office, and they were interceding all inside there, and I could feel the presence of the Lord so strong on this. And then I could see that darkness that was that heaviness upon America with the financial crisis of what I saw coming. It started to lift above the trees, and I saw the blue and the things coming back out, and the green times coming back again. But the Lord said it would be forth a time of a season of a shaking, and it would be a shaking to awaken. And in this, this would basically that he was not done with America. There would be a great revival come, and it's not all doom and gloom. That's what he said. The sky's not falling. There's a time of it's like people would say this is judgment, and the Lord said, "Do not call this judgment. It's not my judgment. It's a correction. There's correction coming."
Okay, I must.
He said. And I saw
that was like the most general like
Michigan.
And then I saw like
right.
That was a lot.
Right.
That was
It was a lot. But do you guys think that this is a prophecy of Donald Trump being shot?
That the economy's going to crash? I think it's quite the opposite. The economy is like coming back.
Yeah, I totally agree. Can you guys hear me still?
Unless he wins. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of an echo. Or I'm getting a little.
Are there true prophets walking among us? There's this guy named Brandon Biggs who 4 months prior to the assassination attempt.
Lordy. Okay.
Hello? Where'd
Yeah,
that
my
come
computer's like flipping out.
from?
Like, what are you doing, Jimmy?
Did he say so? The paddle thing really threw me off. Like
It was like the defibrillator
like
paddle.
defib.
Yeah.
The whole nation is gonna get a defib.
Yes.
I don't get okay.
Yes.
Is everything doom and gloom right now? Does everybody think that the country is like burning right now? Because I don't think that the country's doing that bad. Like I felt
No, I don't think so
that
either.
during COVID felt like very end times and apocalyptic. But now, like, I mean, we just had a hurricane come through in the Midwest. But other than that, I mean, I can explain that. That's, climate change. But everything else, it seems all right. Like I'm doing all right. Economically, people have jobs and are getting jobs. So I don't understand where this whole like, they think that the border is like this horrible thing that's like just getting out of hand. And I agree, like there are problems, but
and that it's affecting people who it's definitely not affecting.
Yeah, the people that are complaining they're not getting affected at all from what I have seen. Like the people that I know that are complaining about the border, it's like, okay, when's the last time that anybody that was an illegal immigrant or undocumented person like affected you? And they don't have anything. They're not affecting them. People on the border, I could maybe see, there might be a little upturn in like, well, actually crime's down too. And I don't really know where that's all coming
Yes, crime
from.
is down.
So, I have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like they need it. they need it to be burning down.
Well, and that's
In all honesty, if it's not burning down, there's nothing for them to be scared for or be afraid of.
I feel like a lot of the Republican ticket like runs on doom and gloom and the border being bad, and
Well,
that's they don't want
we-
to change that because it gives
We
them
had
something to run.
a bipartisan border bill that was on the verge of passing, but Trump told his people in Congress, no, because I want to run on that. And so this bipartisan border bill that was some of the most conservative border policy ever, and you have, you know, this rare agreement between both sides, but Trump shut it down. So anything that is coming from the Republicans, especially those who support Trump on the border, means absolutely nothing, because clearly they're full of shit. Because
You're right.
clearly they're.
Just wanted to make sure that the YouTube live was getting sound. Somebody in the chat was saying that they had no sound, but I found it and it's got sound.
Oh, yay. Good, good. No, yeah, Odin was saying in the chat that he didn't have sound in the beginning, but that was before I clicked the tab over.
Oh, gotcha.
Let's see here. JFK Jr., President Trump, and prophecies fulfilled. Gene Ho and Steve Schultz. Let's see what they got.
So the only like concrete thing that last guy really like prophesied was like an economic crash and fire and tiki torches, right? I feel
Well,
like
he said
that
Trump was going to be bleeding from his ear.
Oh, he did say that? Okay, I didn't hear that part.
I missed that.
Oh, did you?
Okay.
Okay.
So the very
And
like,
I was.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just confused on the economic crash part. Like, when is that? Is that supposed to happen after Trump is elected again or before?
Yeah, that was before.
If anything,
or after.
I think he's trying to suggest that. I don't know. Actually, when is this all? Is this supposed to happen before the election and everything's supposed to be flame and fire, and then Trump's gonna like be like, oh, we need Jesus, because he did have a little bit of a spiritual revival there for a second, where he was like,
yeah, that was something weird.
But it went away so quick, and he also had that message of unity where he was like, oh, I want to bring unity and all this stuff. Like his first speech right after the incident, he wanted to like reach across the aisle is what it sounded like, or bring everybody together. But then right after that, he was calling everybody like, you know, socialist, Marxist.
There's going to be a new way.
New wave.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Of patriotism coming out, and that's whenever I
New
saw
wave.
Trump, and I saw a red wave coming out of Michigan, and then I saw Oklahoma, and there was embers of people, and they were all on these. They had torches all throughout Oklahoma, and they were raising up these torches that looked like fire.
We were talking about when this was. This was around the solar eclipse. They had this prophet
that was a while
here.
ago.
That's what it was.
That was like April.
Yeah, they're talking about what the solar eclipse means and what the prophetic symbolism of this is. So just kind of give a little context.
And they were bringing forth a new patriotism upon the nation, and it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he was He fell to his knees during this time frame and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming.
Okay,
And
now here comes the
then I
stuff.
saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him.
Okay.
And through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff, but there would be a stop to it, and there things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting, and then there will be a great economy crash. Yeah. I saw they had a great economy plan, a crash.
After he won
the Great Depression. And the Lord warned me about this. It would be a great dark time. But I saw paddles coming upon America's soil, like a shocking of the soil. And I saw Donald Trump praying in the office of the Oval Office. And he was weeping before the Lord with his hands on his head like this, but he was weeping. And there was ministers and people. I don't know if they were senators or Congress people or whatever. I just saw them pacing and back and forth inside of the White House. I'm sorry, what is the White House? But it's the Oval Office. Yeah. And they were interceding all inside there, and I could feel the presence of the Lord so strong on this. And then I could see that darkness that was the heaviness upon America with the
all this darkness after they elected Trump. I feel like, if this prophet is right, we should probably listen to him and be like, okay, we probably should not elect Trump.
Okay, so I will say
maybe the Harris campaign should use this, and
they got the ear thing right. Yeah, let's change the prophecy. So the thing about prophecy, though, is that if it doesn't go exactly how you say it, as per the Bible, then it is not something of God. I think it's somewhere in the Old Testament that it lays that out, and
Deuteronomy, I think.
Yeah, it might be Deuteronomy. Yeah. He did get a kind of weird thing right though with the ear. It didn't blow his eardrum out, but with like the bleeding ear thing. But now, if I may get into a little bit of a conspiracy, just for entertainment purposes,
please do. Please do. We need it.
Have you seen, like, he was just at NABJ or whatever, the National Association of Black Journalists or whatever it's called last night.
Yes.
And you can see his right ear the whole time, and there's nothing. There's not even like redness. There's no scab. There's no anything.
What?
So that's really weird. But
what?
At the same time, like, even if you got like a paper cut on your ear, your ear is so, if you want to watch something funny, bring up the NABJ, and he says some racist stuff. But
do you guys want to look at that?
Sure.
Absolutely. It's pretty amazing. Like,
you need to watch it, DC. Like, if you haven't watched it, I was watching it live.
Spiraling.
It is an hour and a half of just cringe. Like
I could totally
the financial crisis.
Well, man,
just look up NABJ.
I could totally change it up, man. We could.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of tracks in with this like prophecy on Trump, how like things are persecution. So maybe this is part of his persecution, but it doesn't seem like he's getting out of it. It seems like he's digging further down.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we can, let's see, this is 36 minutes.
Yeah, he left early.
Okay, it says it's the full.
Yeah, he left early because
as journalists, we opportunities both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJ FactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to. And we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Oof. Be prepared for awkward. This is Trump talking to a panel of black female journalists.
I didn't hear very much applause.
I think there's like one person applauding.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
Oh, the cringe.
Including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me on false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment. Something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
And for you to start off a
Right,
question and
exactly
answer
what
first,
she
especially
said.
when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party to you. And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Oh my gosh!
Go
I
ahead.
didn't
Is
even
that what
catch
your
this part.
definition?
That is.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her.
This
a
gets
long
bad
time
too.
Indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black
I
woman. She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that she is
somebody should look into that too. You ask continue in a very hostile net.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I really
Republicans
don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how
That girl in the
divided we
blue
are.
looked at
Can
her
we
like,
pause it? Can we
And
pause
you were
it though?
coming today, we
I
really
have
got
some things I gotta just like get out. He just told a panel
yes, get it out.
of black female journalists that Kamala, not Kamala, Kamala Harris is not black and she just turned black, as if she's never had a Jamaican father. I don't care if it's from Jamaica. I don't care if her ancestry leads back to slave owners. I'm sure a lot of people's ancestry leads back to some terrible, terrible things. It doesn't change the color of your skin. It doesn't change what you look like, what you sound like, what you're perceived as. And that is wild.
I have the PolitiFact fact check thing that they were talking about up. So on this one, they rated this pants on fire. And Harris has long identified as a black woman who grew up in a multicultural household. Her father, Donald Harris, immigrated to the U.S. from Jamaica. And then her mother, Shyamala Harris, was born in Chennai, India, and moved to California. Harris attended college at Howard University, a historically black university in Washington, D.C.
They mentioned that to him too. They threw that in at the journalists.
I heard him say something like that, like she was part of the fraternity or something in college.
Yeah, she pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha, a historically black sorority. She was a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. So
this is that, the persecution that Trump is going after, because he has nothing that he says or does to be persecuted about.
Right. It's just like, when people of color tell us how they feel or what's going on, or even ask us questions, and all we want to do is cry to them. That right there is just bullshit.
Right?
I can definitely understand when they look at us and go, "What the fuck? You guys are weak."
It's
just
something. This whole othering and that she doesn't deserve to be called black or whatever is all part of white supremacy, and it's just very telling to see Trump engaging in this rhetoric. I mean, he got his political spotlight with the birtherism thing.
Right.
Obama.
That's how he got his following in the beginning.
And like Denny said, I haven't seen anything on his ear.
Yeah, see right there, you can see his ear. Do you see any bandages? Do you see any scabs?
I mean, nothing.
It's a little blurry. It's a little hard to see, but you would think there'd be.
But I mean, they did close up too.
Yeah, there would be something.
We'll keep watching for it.
Okay.
On the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
That happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best
what exactly is a black job, sir?
A black
Oh my God.
job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
They're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in and they're coming in. They're invading. It's an invasion. Millions of people, probably 50.
Fearmonger,
I have a
fearmonger,
feeling much more than
fearmonger.
that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The
Yeah.
affected most by
Anybody
that,
that has a
and
job.
Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the woman of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been, she said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members.
Where's
in
the
other
polit
countries.
effect on that?
Other countries are setting loose.
What?
They're opening up.
He always says that.
Yeah, we need a political fact on that.
They're not coming in
Mental
from
institutions?
Yeah, he's saying that these other countries are emptying out their mental institutions and their prisons and they're throwing them at the border. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Okay. Pants on
Cocoa
fire.
Puffs, man.
Pants on fire.
When Trump made a similar comment in January, his campaign did not provide evidence of this scheme. Only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections. Oh, because he also said, and they want to give them votes. Even immigrants who arrive now and eventually become U.S. citizens won't be able to vote this election year because of the lengthy citizenship process. Some municipalities, whatever, allow non-citizens to vote in local elections, such as for school board positions, but they don't allow them to vote in state or federal elections.
Cannot vote for president.
On his claim that immigrants are coming from prisons and mental institutions, experts have told PolitiFact there's no evidence that countries are deliberately doing this. When Trump said earlier this year that Biden is letting in millions of immigrants from jails and mental institutions, we rated it pants on fire. Immigration officials arrested about 103,000 non-citizens with criminal convictions from fiscal years 2021 to 2024. Federal data shows that accounts for people stopped at and between ports of entry. Not everyone was let in. Non-citizens includes people who may have legal immigration status in the U.S. but are not U.S. citizens. And then the black jobs thing. Wait, I still can't believe.
I'm thinking he's
ABC
trying to
News
say. I don't know what he's
Scott
trying to
asked
say.
what he meant by, quote, black jobs, unquote. Trump responded, quote, a black job is anybody that has a job.
Like, what?
That's what it is.
He was
Anybody
trying
that
to
has
avoid
it.
the trap. He was trying to avoid the trap. That was definitely a trap, though. Because he's saying that black jobs, like the Mexicans are saying the black jobs like they're lesser jobs. If that makes any sense.
That was a major talking point during the civil rights, when they were taking away civil rights and, after slavery, when the African American, the black population started coming into the workforce, they were saying they're taking our jobs. That was a big deal. They're in Omaha, where we're from, Seth and I, there's major lynching that happened and the lynching was done not only on black people, but also on Greeks, and Polish and Italian people. Yeah. And they were all attacked because they were taking their jobs. But see, now Trump wants to narrow that scope, and because he knows that that's a dog whistle to a lot of, people that still think that way, and say like, no, they're taking black jobs too. And and then when they ask him, what are black jobs? Oh, just all the jobs.
Yeah, that's what he's
What?
trying to say. But
So then
instead
just
of
say
saying just all
jobs.
the jobs, he said
Right.
everyone that has a job is a black job.
Right.
Yeah, that's just
Oh,
funny to me.
and then
That's
the
funny.
union part is mostly false. Economy and labor experts told PolitiFact that immigrants who recently crossed the U.S. border illegally are unlikely to take union jobs because these jobs are highly competitive. Instead, they tend to work in non-union jobs that Americans don't want,
Yes,
such as day laborers.
that's
Um,
right.
Experts agreed that immigration and union membership numbers move in concert. As immigration rises, unionization drops. As union membership has fallen, some experts said immigrants have filled jobs left by union workers who disagreed with their employers' labor practices. So,
Yeah, I can see that. The more we lose rights or the more immigration comes over, I could see where that would be like they have less rights than we do because they're not necessarily US citizens, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And so they could be here, but they're not citizens, so they may not be required to treat them the same by
Well, yeah,
law.
there's no paper trail. Technically, they're not working for you,
Right.
even though they're
And so
working
whenever
for you.
your job is right, so when your job is full of people like that, then it's going to be hard for you to unionize just by the sheer nature of the job. But that's not what's going on necessarily. We're having a lot of unions, and actually, this year was a good year for unions. We saw that the writer's strike actually worked, and now they're not run by AI right now. We're able to hold that off for a few years. We see other strikes that happen with auto workers.
UAW. Yep.
Yeah, that actually ended in good results. We've seen Biden, the first sitting president, actually walk with strikers, walk with the union. That is a plus for the union. That's something that is on their side. So unions actually had a good year. And if he wants to say that the unions are in a bad spot, it's kind of like what we were talking before with the prophet Brandon, that they need America to be like a shit pile right now. So everything that they're going to be describing is going to maybe something that you're not even seeing. It's not even reality. It's just their narrative, what they need to push to win the election. Anyways.
and it's just
Yes.
more of this othering and blaming people that don't look like you, basically. It's very easy to make a boogeyman out of somebody that you're never gonna run into
Out of
them.
strangers. Out of strangers.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at
this
this. 20 hours ago, the UAW president just endorsed Kamala Harris.
hell yeah.
Yay! Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, the unions are doing good. So what he's saying about the unions and immigrants, there may be some kernel of truth where he's pulling from, but it's very exaggerated, and it's not the reality that we're in right now. It
Right.
could be a reality, and it really could be a reality in the future, but it's not right now. It's not something that we're dealing with.
Well, if we had a bipartisan border bill that would help people become
Exactly.
citizens, have a quicker way to citizenship without, they want, like, a lot of people want to build a wall still. And it's like, guys, this didn't work 8 years ago.
No, they think that it's just because they're coming over and we're letting them. But really what it is the asylum. It's because we don't have the judges that we need
Right.
to get the people asylum cases to be heard. And so they're here, the court act, and they're waiting for their cases to be heard legally. And so without a reform to the asylum laws, that's not going to happen. Now, if they come over here illegally and don't ask for asylum, then guess
Right.
what? We take them back. That's just what
Yeah,
happens.
that was literally what I used to do. I used to like ship people back for ICE, immigration.
Yeah.
They would come to the jail that I worked at, and we would ship them back, about 30 people every week.
Whoa.
and yeah, they'd have to like be taken. They'd only be able to take so much property because they were getting on a rickety old plane
Right.
that sometimes, you know, it was too snowy or whatever to fly them back. And it's just the undocumented people are not coming over the wall. They're coming over on, you know, like visas or overstaying for those reasons, or they're just flying over to visit family and they just stick around, and then they don't, you know, have like an easy process to you know, become a citizen or a dual citizen or a resident or any of that. And it just builds this us versus them like attitude. And
Mhm.
they wanted, you know, at the Republican, you know, debates back when like Chris Christie and all those guys, Nikki Haley, DeSantis, and Trump. Well, Trump wasn't there, but when they were talking about it, they were saying like, let's put pew pews on the border, and you know, take them down if you see them crossing and stuff like that. And it's like, what are you guys talking about? What is going on? And they want to bring the armed forces down to the border, and
Right.
you're talking about potential citizens being at, you know, like pew-pewed at by their own military.
Yes. Well, that's going to cause war. You know, straight up. That will cause a war. If we start just shooting on citizens that are coming over, how is that not provoking them? You know what I mean? I don't know. All right, here we go, guys.
Institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with Black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
Sure.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that births, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single Black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the Black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment. Because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it.
I heard every single word.
Is absolutely
I could hear
destroying
fine.
class.
I don't know what the fuck is he talking about.
Virtually every
Maybe it's
class.
that bullet.
Inflation
That bullet's
is a
lodged in
disaster
there.
in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every
Busted
country.
his eardrum.
We had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young Black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the Black community probably as much.
So what do you do?
Than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
losing very badly.
Talking to
and then had a
people,
rather bad debate. I would say
mansplaining.
it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst We're still in history. And his
Yeah,
phone
like,
numbers crashed.
like he's writing a
And
fairy
instead of
tale.
saying, let's keep going,
I
and
was
maybe
pretty
something
against the man
happens the
named
other way,
Biden.
they said, oh, we're going to
He once was a top.
replace him. Let's just replace him. Fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same
Which is
because they have bad policy.
hilarious.
They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say,
Wrong.
gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil.
Gasoline.
They
They
want
do
to get
not.
rid of
They do not.
if fueling is killing, destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 50, the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But
Oh, he
inflation,
did.
Harris,
No,
is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question? Also hacking back
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry.
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day
Oh, I've
in her
heard this is
home
bad.
by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been fled. Why should
oh no.
someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case,
Your live ended on
but I saw
TikTok, by the way.
something, and it didn't with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police.
It didn't.
I mean, police unions are not backing this person
Okay,
either.
okay.
But
And
again, why would?
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now,
distinctions?
for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
You
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a, life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial. And yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory and he was a nice old guy.
He really
but he
did
had no
not
memory,
think Joe was going
and
to turn it
therefore
over.
we're not going to prosecute him. I
Nope,
won
he's
the
still
case,
got
and it got very
he's
little
still got
publicity. I didn't notice
talking points
ABC.
on Biden. Nobody
George,
cares, bro.
Absolutely, sir. I'd love
Biden's
to look
gone.
I didn't notice
He's
publicity on it.
he's gonna watch the
Yeah.
country for another like what 100 days, maybe plus a few months. Like it's over. Get over it,
He's just
bro.
babysitting.
Seriously.
Lord,
Like, yeah, we were all a little
like literally, he
nervous.
just can't stop crying about it.
It's ridiculous. I think Seth he's had to go check on something, but I think he's got his phone with him. He just has his camera off.
Oh, no
Goodness
problem.
graciousness, Trump, what is the deal?
That was a really good question.
It really is not good.
Like,
That
the way that she
wasn't
framed it was badass. Being like, oh, especially the ones that
Yes,
are
it
going
really
after you. Why do you want to
Yeah,
rein them
and he
in?
just,
But
Right. Well, he had
And he just
nothing
goes
bad to
so
say
nuts
about
about it.
Eileen Cannon, which I think later on in this interview he says like, "Oh, I won that like case, and you didn't win it; it was dropped.
That's what he says. He said he won it, and
That's not a
it was going to
win."
be the hardest. It wasn't a win, and it was dropped. Wasn't it dropped after he was shot? Or shot.
It was right around that time. I feel like it was.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like right after. Yeah, because he was having quite the week, and then Kamala came and just took it all from him.
Yep, you're right. All right, we're almost done with it, guys. Well, we're about halfway.
At all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an
Yeah, he's
attack on a
the
political
one-
opponent. I have another one where I
Sir, if
have
you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Oh.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few
So
things said in the
fucking
past.
salty.
He said the Democrats
So
running the country are a
childish.
bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made. I want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented, and he thinks family
Real
is a
quick.
great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking
Excuse
about
me.
families here.
And
he also
some of
says that
those
people that don't have children should get less votes than
That's
those
all right.
that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
that your
and I
campaign
think I'm
position?
speaking for him too.
Yeah, did you guys
He
hear
strongly
that?
believes in family. But I know people
what,
with
the
great
childless
families,
cat lady?
What?
not great families. That
No, that JD Vance wants people that have kids to have more votes. Like if they have kids, then they get more vote.
Yeah,
Like
it's part of
Shit.
family.
No, I didn't know
like
that.
their vote counts for however many kids
It's
they
part
have.
of family voting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of family voting.
I mean, we have a lot of
They don't think the
pets.
women should be able to vote either.
Right.
So
It-
count one for Otis, Maxwell, Percy, Nala,
Right.
Tankini,
No.
maybe a few of our favorite fish.
He said no.
No, they got to be human. I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure. They got to be citizens. It's so
It's
funny.
just ridiculous. JD Vance is just like this weird avatar of Trump. Like it's wild. And then as this interview goes on, they're like, okay, so why did you pick JD Vance? And he just goes on to say like less than what like everybody already knows. It's like, oh yeah,
It's cutting out
he was in
really
that
bad
movie.
for me. I don't know why.
Oh no, Seth.
Are you on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Say something, then, because it was
I'm
doing it when
saying
you
things.
were talking. Okay, that sounds better.
Okay.
Maybe we're
Yay.
being
too liberal.
Silenced.
I was being too progressive
We're being silenced for talking
for the
shit
internet.
on JD Vance.
Oh my gosh. I am on a couch right now.
Family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not, what he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually,
That's
but
what he said.
my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this.
Yeah,
right now
because you don't know anything about it.
country.
Because you don't talk to your own
from
runner.
institutions, and they want to give you votes. I don't think they in the country illegally. They're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside are going to be legal that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question, right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man.
Look at that ear.
And
Look at
woman
that
who have
ear.
been treated very unfairly.
Nothing.
You have many of them, many in the room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else.
Mother.
He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with.
Yeah, he said the mother, the father.
He's got a mom.
Great distinction.
He's got a dad.
For 4 years, got out, went into business. business.
There's a family there involved somehow.
Right.
Very successful in business, actually. I did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator.
So
when
Harris,
he gave his endorsement, he
respect
called
you
him
for your
J.D.
success.
Mandel.
I respect
or J.P. Mandel. he completely like flubbed his whole name, like forgot his name. He was like, "What's his name? JP, JD Mandel." I endorse him.
That's right.
Ridiculous. Sorry, I
That's the
just had
question is
to add
because the
that.
last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We've been
You're right,
together
you're
for
right.
much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2
I'm
days
sorry.
after
I
that,
cannot understand. Your microphone
I know
is so
it is
muffled.
really hard for me
I
to
mean, it's just,
understand you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Push this
Whoa.
closer.
I can understand you.
Happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
Really happy to hear
understand,
that.
Harris,
I have a few more questions.
because of the distance and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
Are you
So,
asking a question?
what you're saying. Go
so
ahead.
what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And
Did you
you
notice
said normally it
he
really
just
wouldn't
grabbed
matter,
the
but, you know, you
blue
choose somebody.
journalist's water. He
But
didn't
you
grab
said
his own
a word
water.
2.5 hours before an
Whoa,
attempted
I didn't see
assassination
that.
on your life. You told me that bad things happen.
You can go
Harris,
back.
and
It's
that's
really
why
weird.
this decision is this time. Bad things happen. You said.
Okay.
Like, he grabs her water. It's like so close to her,
Respect.
and he grabs her water,
The reason I asked you is
acts like he's
because
gonna
the
open
last
it,
time
and then
you and I
sets it
sat
back
and
down.
talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2
I'm
days
sorry.
after
I
that,
cannot understand. Your microphone
I know
is so
it is
muffled.
really hard for me
I
to
mean, it's just,
understand you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Push
Whoa.
this closer.
I can understand you.
Happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
really happy to hear
understand,
that.
Harris,
I have a few more questions.
because of the distance and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
So,
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying.
so
Boop.
what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you
And then he puts
said
it back
some words
down.
that were
He's like-
prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally
Weird.
it really wouldn't
That's
matter
weird.
what they would bring. You know, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. You said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at JD Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president in term election does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking.
Oh
Say that
yeah,
to Sarah
because
Palin.
he honestly, JD Vance is the next Sarah Palin. If you ask me, he's the male Sarah Palin, even though he's supposed to be this uber genius.
Trump is Sarah Palin.
Oh,
Trump is Sarah Palin.
Trump is Sarah Palin. I would say Sarah Palin makes or Trump makes Sarah Palin look like a genius.
Agree.
Yeah, sorry about pointing out the water bottle thing. I just that's so weird.
No,
I
you're
don't
great.
know. Like, why would you do that? There's a bottle to his right. That's actually a really good shot
It's
of
probably-
his ear too.
It really is. It's that little. What's that right there? You see that little discoloration right there?
There is a little bit of a reflection, but so his doctor said that it was like 2 centimeters big, like the width of a quarter.
Okay.
And have they said whether it was a bullet or
The FBI said it was either a bullet or a shard from a bullet, but
but they haven't said which one.
no,
Like-
they don't.
Right.
They don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and You can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my JD Vance question in.
JD Vance.
One person's like, yeah.
Point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think? Well, my point is
It
here.
was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what JD Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death, death of a baby after they're born based on.
Sir, that's
their pants on fire.
Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
The Democrats have denied.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it.
You've made them less radical?
Liberals, conservative, everybody wanted.
That doesn't sound right.
I don't think there's much more left.
If anything, he's emboldened them to be radical.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They do ask him about Jan 6 though.
Where he calls Ashley Babbitt something. Yeah, that woman. He doesn't even name her.
What?
Yeah, you can play it, but what I was gonna say about well, because he couldn't think of it. He's losing touch.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Because he was, I think if I remember right, he talks about the Palestinian protesters just recently that were burning the flag and stuff and all of that on the Capitol, and he's saying that was terrible and that was an attack on our country. And then they're like, well, what about January 6th? Isn't that basically the same thing that just happened? If not worse, way worse, because they broke in and it was thousands. But yeah, he'll just try and talk his way out of it.
That's all he does. I think it's good. I think that we should be able to hear what he has to say, and it kind of exposes himself.
Oh yeah,
and it really doesn't feel like he was. It feels like he was really awkward, like he really didn't want to be there.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, I'm wondering why he was there even.
Because I think Kamala later on comes on a Zoom or something.
So he felt like he needed to?
So both of them were there throughout the show? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We only got 10 more minutes of this and then we'll call it a clip. It's been an hour. You guys good with that?
Sure.
Okay, great. Here we go.
Abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the three exceptions. Most people believe in the three exceptions. Most Republicans believe in exceptions. They don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is.
That I love her. I think she's probably the better one out of the two that's up there, I would say.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys think so? Okay.
I mean, I love all three of them. The one in pink, I think, was playing good cop.
Yeah, she's definitely a Fox reporter. I see her a lot on Fox.
Is that what
the
it
one
is?
in the pink? The one in the
Is that what
blue?
it is?
Yeah, I bet the one in the blue. Yeah, I bet the one for the blue works for MSNBC, but I really don't know. But if I was to guess, I would say probably.
Yeah.
But the girl in the black, she just seems pretty much in the middle, and it shows in their color too.
Right,
Like the
left
Republicans
blue,
wearing the
right,
red.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones wearing the blue, and then the more moderates probably were the one wearing the black.
Interesting. By the way, an abortion that's happening in the 9th month is called a birth. They're not doing that unless like it's something that is going to be like insanely like emergency style, like not like wrapped up or this is going to harm the mother like so bad that there's no way around it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like if you are having an abortion at the last month or like one of the last months, it's usually because the baby has so much deformity that it's not going to survive. It's going to be in so much pain that
Right.
it's actually a humanitarian thing to do is to not let it suffer, because
Right.
while they're in the womb, as far as we know, they don't suffer. And so that's what you're seeing in the interim. And you cannot abort a baby after it's already birthed.
Right.
Like he's saying this doctor like delivered a baby and then set the baby down and then was like, well, we're going to decide about the abortion.
Yeah.
There's no more abortion.
That's infanticide. That's illegal.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, do you want to say anything else, Seth?
Oh no, I was just saying that's illegal. And the PolitiFacts, willfully terminating a newborn's life is infanticide and is illegal in every state. As the moderators pointed out, most elected Democrats who have spoken publicly about this have said they support abortion under Roe v. Wade standard, which provided abortion access up to fetal viability. This is typically around 24 weeks. And then many of these Democrats have also said they support abortions past this point if the treating physician deems it necessary.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, never mind, guys. Ew.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Less than 1% of abortions in the US occur after 21 weeks and typically involved fatal fetal anomalies or life-threatening emergencies affecting the pregnant woman. For fetuses with very short life expectancies, doctors may induce labor and offer them palliative care. Some families choose this option when facing diagnoses that limit their baby's survival to minutes or days after delivery.
Yeah, whenever my ex-wife and I, we had Kobe, and we were in the hotel room, we actually had people, like everybody that was in the hotel, like everybody that had a room in the hotel, we were were there because they had high risk births, like pregnancies. And one of our friends, they had a baby with some kind of dwarfism, and it was like their organs was on the outside, and the baby slowly died like in 2 days, and they were just giving it palliative care. That is one of the hardest things, and I think that it's very easy to say stuff on a stage until you are in the rooms with the parents that are crying, waiting for their baby to be unalive. That is a different. It's a different experience, and it's you go through that. I don't think we can have an understanding of
Right.
what's going on at the end of the pregnancy month.
Right.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's not the place of the government to make a generality, to make this like sweeping, you know, decision. Even on a statewide scale, it should just be between the family, you know, the mother, at the very least, the mother and the doctor, you know, and possibly the father, you know, like at times, but like for the most part, it's not any of our business.
Yeah, states can be tyrants. And that's like I think like the tyrants in the state don't want the federal government to have any power because they want to get away with it. They want to be able to treat us the way they want to treat us, and the state elites want to get away with anything. But you know, we have the federal government.
Yeah, it should just be a right to privacy, as Roe v. Wade had like kind of made it, and
Yes.
just leave it at that. Why I don't now it's going to be basically everybody in the state level is either going to gerrymander the state to misrepresent the population and not
Right.
represent what the people want, as Trump was trying to say, or they're just going to keep putting it up for a vote every single chance they
Exactly.
can. They'll keep putting it on the ballot, and like if it keeps passing, then great, you know. But sooner or later, you know, they're going to find a way to word it or some loophole or something to make it so they have control over women's bodies and women's, you know, ability
Yeah.
to choose what kind of healthcare they should get.
It's honestly disgusting.
It is.
All right, here we go. We're almost done.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people, I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world, history, greatest leaders. Some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question: would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining, or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my
me,
goodness.
and I'm fine
This
with it
woman.
because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty. That wasn't a question.
Nasty woman.
Question. She gave a statement. That absolutely. If I thought that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
Well,
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President,
Are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the fact.
to be clear, you don't think
I'm
Harris?
just
how do you
giving the
intend
fact.
and
She didn't
look,
pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it. I
She
guess
did pass it.
There's a
She
man
did-
over
she
here.
did
I
in
think
fact pass
he
it.
must work. for
Mr.
her.
President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning
Now he's
all
gonna
the
drink it
rioters,
again.
you said,
He's gonna
yes, absolutely.
drink it.
You called them
He's
patriots.
gonna drink it.
140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, one officer lost an eye, one had 2 cracked ribs,
Yeah.
2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots
Oh, that
who
made it
deserve
well
pardons?
worth it.
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw
Deflect.
the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite
Bells,
with
all the
red
bells.
paint, spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never. I'm a builder. I know about this stuff. It'll never. You'll see it in 100 years from now.
Oh, he's
They
a builder.
viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that
But
destroyed
sir, my
that
question
city?
is on
What's
those.
going to happen to
My
the
question
people
is
that
on
tried
those
to burn down-
rioters who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
Right.
Would you pardon
What's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent-
those-
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just under.
Why would you
Yeah.
pardon
They were
someone?
convicted. Very tough
That's not how it
system.
works,
They were-
sir.
How come the people that tried to burn down
Yeah.
Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the
But
people
sir, we're
that-
talking about
how
people
come
that
the
were
people-
seen
no,
beating
We're
officers
talking
with
about federal
flagpoles,
buildings.
dragging them down the stairs. They're on
They
video.
try-
Have you seen that
Really?
video,
Oh,
sir?
really? Well, they
you would
shot-
pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle.
What? You just
Nobody
said
died, but
somebody
people
died.
in-
Like,
people
He got
and
pew-pewed
nothing
in the
happens, and nobody
face.
ever talks and
but nobody.
Not her
And
ear.
whatever,
It wasn't her ear.
vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in.
That's
What about-
Oh my
another
God.
Look,
lie.
nothing is perfect in life.
Deflection.
But you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying, they were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political
She's
opponent.
done with it.
That's never happened in our country before. And it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
what do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming.
What's that lady in the blue trying to say?
But I didn't.
Are you guys?
But
The
later,
lady in the blue is like
yelling,
saying a
or-
word that she's. Huh?
she's just clapping back. She's probably calling him out on his lies. You could go back.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, somebody was texting me.
We want people to come
Oh no, you're good. You're great.
in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want
Legal,
people. I want
yeah.
people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again.
Speaking
So
of
people
Sarah
can buy
Palin.
a ham sandwich again.
Right.
So that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. because
Yeah,
right now
right.
people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%.
No,
right?
they're not.
She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have
big oil corporations that we got to
more liquid gold, gasoline, oil under our feet than any other country, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project
Dog
2025.
whistle.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So that is the last word. Thank you so much.
Yep. They got
were
the
like,
shepherd's
get
hook.
him out of there.
That's probably what
Yep.
she was telling the other person. The Trump team told her,
Mr. Trump, for
yeah,
coming
Get him out of here. This
coming
is
today and joining
not
us.
good for us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling
Thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you.
NABJ will email about details regarding the conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris in September. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
done
that was
now.
something going weird with the music there.
Yeah. So how about that?
Yeah. Any takeaways there?
I mean, I think we were kind of
Well,
addressing
thank
it
you
as
for- I heard a little bit of
Yeah.
it yesterday, but
Just bad. Really
It-
bad.
yeah,
it's
Well, this is
not a
gonna be
good look.
YouTube video.
I thought we touched
No.
on some good clearing up of what he was saying. I do want to, like, just on that last, like, little sound bit, he will say
For sure.
something, and then right afterwards he will, like, completely say the opposite, where he's like, oh, there was a young lady who was shot in the face. Nobody died that night. And it's like, what?
Yeah, right.
She did. She died, and her name was Ashley Babbitt,
Yeah.
and she had a pew pew pointed at her face, and she was trying to jump through to attack Congress. Like,
You
oh
convinced
my
her
gosh,
that the election was stolen. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you
it's
can't even
not-
remember
She
her
was
name.
there for him.
You can't even remember her name. And then after that, he was like, "Oh, Elon loves me. He supports me, but I don't want everybody to have electric vehicles. I don't want everybody to not have electric vehicles." And then, like, he says things, and then he tries to, like, fix it with this, like, "Oh, I want the ability to choose," and bro, just come on, stop and think before you speak.
yeah, for sure.
I don't
It's
know.
Trump. It's Trump.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be surprised though.
But maybe this is just to tie it all back with the prophecy. Maybe this is part of the persecution. That was it. That was just a good man who's just, he didn't say anything about religion or Jesus. So I don't know where the prophecy was saying that he's really gotten down on his knees and is wanting Jesus in his life and in everybody's life. So that was wrong.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was the L. That was the L.
the ear thing, maybe there is a conspiracy and there wasn't an actual injury on the ear and they just did that, but that's terrible to say because there was lives that were taken that day. I just don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know what's true. I don't believe a damn thing that Trump says. Everything he
Me
says
either.
is essentially a lie. He lied
It's
about.
gonna really suck if we trust him at one point because I won't be able to.
Oh yeah, I mean it was. I don't even want to think about that Everybody should get out and go vote. Call your legislatures. Make sure that you are getting your voices heard. Call your state legislatures, your county commissioners. Call your mayors, your city boards. Tell them how you feel. Tell them who you are, where you live, why you feel this way. Doesn't matter. Just get the word out there so you are being represented. Look into the democracy docket. You know that it's a crazy list of every single state, all the different like cases or legislation that's being brought on to try and suppress voters and like their ability to get the vote out there. That you just go and like go to the .govs and get a hold of people, read up on your tickets. I don't know what else to say. Get the word out there.
I feel like this is going to be another segment. So we have deconstruct the church. We're going to have deconstruct the modern prophet, and then we're going to have deconstruct the politics.
Right.
And yeah, I think this will be fun, and it may just be an election year type of deal because the other years I try not to be so politically heavy, but whenever it's like this kind of political election, it's not anything to play around with, really.
Well, and I don't think that, I mean, like, yeah, there's a leaning obviously that we have, but check the facts, guys. Go and fact check anything that we just said today.
Yeah, and I've started to on TikTok. I've started like have political conversations where used to I wouldn't, and so I'm getting more open to politics. So yeah,
it turns out that the facts lean left, and there's a reason.
Yeah,
for
they really
that.
do. They really do. You have anything to say, Seth?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Benny. I didn't mean.
No, you're fine.
No, just I'll echo what Benny said. That make sure you're getting out and being active, and politically voting, paying attention to issues, especially at the local level, because that gets lost in the shuffle a lot of time. All the attention goes to the national races. And then also there's going to be, we talked about this earlier, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in November, a lot of voter suppression. So be proactive and vigilant.
Yeah.
Don't let people.
That's the prophecy right there. There's the prophecy.
There you
Watch.
go.
Yeah. Watch. Everything's going to be challenged in especially swing states. All of the states that Trump will win will not be challenged. All the states that Trump comes close or loses will be challenged.
Sure.
There will be and I'm seeing and weird that he mentioned Michigan because that's a swing state.
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing people needing to be watched, and little counties haven't gotten their votes in, so the whole state cannot be called. I have caravans. There's going to be caravans coming to the border. Watch all of this.
I have a feeling they're going to be mad at Kamala because she's vice president. She'll have to officiate her own getting the votes on the House, whatever it's called.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the border czar. Yeah, that's a good thing to touch on right before we leave. The border czar just means that she talked to leadership. She asked them to come up with a bill. They came up with a bill. Trump said, "Don't vote for it. I want to run on this bill."
That's right. That's right.
The people that drafted the bill voted against it.
Yep. There you go.
Well, I love you. I love you guys.
I love you too. Sorry we weren't able to get to your prophet, Seth. You have a fan that's a prophet. We weren't able to get to him because we got detoured by Trump. But maybe we'll keep him for later, and we'll go back and listen to us. I'm not really interested
anyway. So
yeah, I think this was a way more productive conversation.
I think you're right. Because that dude probably needs some medication. All right, guys. Remember to bless yourself because there's no God to do it for you. Seth and Benny, I love you guys so much. And I'll see you guys next Thursday.
DC.
Yes, appreciate you guys too. Love you too, guys. Have a great day. Bless yourself.